Alright, how's it going, guys? My name is Lubeman of YTRI, and a couple of you have been asking me for this kind of video for a long time, so I figured we'd go ahead and run through it. So this is going to be my box showcase video. I've been playing this game for roughly about 850 days, so I've been on for quite a while. I want to say I started not long after the game was up. I want to say like a month or two after. My friend introduced me to this game and got me into Dokkan, and I've basically logged in almost every day since. I think I've missed maybe 1 or 2 days in the entire time I played Dokkan Battle, which is a little insane, but I mean, I've been on this game for a minute, and that's why I'm especially looking forward to that LR Spirit Bomb Goku that's given as a login bonus at 1,000 days, because I'll be able to get it not soon after the first few people are able to get it. But without further ado, let's go through this box. I'm only going to be showing my URs and above, so UR, TUR, and LRs, because otherwise we'd be here, I guess, all day. So my first UR is I actually ended up selling them when I was short on Zenny for Broly, because when I got LR Broly and I got him up to TUR, I realized I was a couple million short on Zenny, and I ended up selling it. It was the Strength Videl that Dokkaned into, I think it was Great Saiyawoman, or Great Saiyaman 2, whatever you want to call it. So I actually don't have my first UR. My first pullable UR as well, I also don't have, I don't believe. Yeah, I don't believe I have him. It was the Intelligence Gohan, the one with the Piccolo's cape. I believe I fed him into, I think I fed him into the Strength one, I'm not really sure exactly, but regardless, I remember I pulled this Whis, his Undoken form, off of my very first GSSR ticket summon off the World Tournament, so that one's pretty memorable for me overall. And also this Bardock was one of my first pullable ones, but I guess I must have pulled that Vegeta pretty early on as well. But if you didn't know, back when the game started, the percent rates for getting a GSSR, or not GSSR, for getting an SSR at all were less than 3% overall. And by the time I had farmed all the story stones, I literally used them all and pulled 2 SSRs, which is not a lot. But back in the day, that was like amazing, I guess. But looking back, I definitely wish I would have saved the story stones for when there were better rates. Obviously, we would have gotten more stuff for it. But it is what it is. Obviously, I'm gonna have less stones than people who started, or less SSRs than people who started a little bit later and used their story stones for something else. But given how long I've been on the game, I've pretty much farmed almost all the free-to-play URs to some extent, and then farmed up a lot of the special attacks of all my other cards that I pulled over the time. This one was my favorite back in the day, and I pulled so many SSR, SSJ Gokus that I just kind of maxed out his special over time. He does have a few dupes into him, but I obviously haven't put much into him because he's not a great card. At least not by today's standard. Back in the day, he was the stunner amongst all stunners. He was so fantastic to run. Some notables, I did manage to unlock all 4 paths on him. I just need to get his special tech up 2 more. So as soon as he gets a Dokkan, I'll basically be ready to max him out. Not many people remember Hitchiak, but this card was pretty hard to get to drop. I'm sure they've changed that since he originally dropped. Just going through, I obviously need to Dokkan this Gohan, but most cards I've taken the time to Dokkan as soon as I can. I'm not missing too many. One of my favorite pulls was getting this Pikkon, the Undoken form, and Gogeta in the same multi. I believe they were on, if I remember that correctly. Assuming they were on the same banner like I remember, I did manage to pull them both in the very same multi, which was amazing because Gogeta was the GOAT back in the day. Just moving through. If you guys didn't know, I managed to count it before I started. This is 270 URs, TURs, and LRs combined. So I do have 270 apparently. This Beerus is actually Dokkaned, but I reversed him so I can max out his special. But that was before the Intelligence one came out, so now I'm just going to feed him into the Intelligence one because he's actually decent. This one's also Dokkaned, but I reverse Dokkaned him so I can max out his special, so don't judge there. A lot of the Undokened URs that can become TURs are just Undokened so I can max out their special, because I'm not using them otherwise, to be honest. Gotenks was the I believe the first 70% leader I pulled, because at the time I had had no luck pulling any of the other ones between Gohan, Super Vegeta, and I think it was Fizz Broly, but I didn't really care that much about Fizz Broly. So he was the GOAT back in the day for me. He was the one I maxed out immediately. Then we got your boy LR Rainbow Star Turkey. What a waste of Zenny, but I guess a box trophy nonetheless. This Beerus did a lot for me over time. He was great, personally. A lot of the LRs you'll see that I've rainbowed other than Frieza, as far as the free-to-play ones go, I wanted to. And then these two that I have, don't know why I haven't maxed out. I think I was able to exchange coins for him at like the 2-year anniversary or the 1-year anniversary or something. And I almost maxed him out for no reason, just because I could at the time. I'm going through, I managed to max out a lot of the special attacks of the Bomb SSRs except for Deborah, I believe, and Roshi. So the other 3 I managed to get maxed out. Omega was the second 70% leader I pulled, and I loved Omega, personally. I feel like the 70% meta had a lot of cards that I just absolutely loved. They were phenomenal overall. They did almost everything at the time. So going through, that was great. I did manage to end up pulling all 70% leaders eventually, especially Gohan. I ended up rainbow starring. He's the only 70% leader I actually have rainbow starred up to this point. Full Power Frieza was kind of a surprise because I never pulled him initially, and then when it finally came time to, he was pullable again through, you could use the, I think it was the blue Dragon Stone to get him, or red Dragon Stone, I don't remember which one. And then I ended up pulling like 4 of him on the banner, so I was able to max him out really easily, and he's still a monster to this day. So Frieza's aged really well. Broly is the only pullable LR to date that I've actually managed to get. I've only chased, I think, 2 or 3 of them, being Broly, which I actually ended up getting. I want to say I chased Trunks a little bit, I guess. I spent a decent amount on him. And I'm sure there's another one, I just can't remember it off the top of my head. Frieza, the only free-to-play LR that I have not rainbow starred to this point. Super Vegeta, who took me the longest to get, my god. And then I ended up pulling 2 extra of him right after I got him with the, one of the God Dragon Stones, or whatever you want to call it. This Goku, I always meant to max out. He is Dokkan, I just reversed him. I just never was able to max him out because I never pulled an extra Goku, and I didn't want to spend an Elder Kai on him. I remember farming a bunch of these in the hopes that I would get L or Gohan, but of course that didn't happen. So that's a thing. This World Tournament Vegeta, who's not terrible, I may max him out one day, just for the fun of it, I don't know. Get your boy Yamcha. I still wish we would have gotten that Vegeta from that event if you guys know where he's from. But a lot of these cards I did take the time to max out unless they were support characters, if they were able to max out. Obviously a lot of them aren't. The 120 meta was pretty generous to me, which is where you'll see it. Well, I guess we just passed the entry point to it with the SS4s, but I basically managed to pull all of them except for Super 17, and I feel like there's one more. Well, Broly, I guess, coming up. But that'll get us caught up, and then obviously we have the 2 awesome Vegetas now, especially this one who hits like a tank. I actually have enough Gotens and Trunks to almost max them out, sadly, so I may end up doing that, as well as this Beerus that still needs to be maxed out. I think I have 1 dupe for Beerus, so he'd definitely be worth it going bottom right. But yeah, that's mostly it. I basically have almost every major card up to this point, except for a lot of the LRs, obviously, and Super 17. I'll obviously be skipping Broly unless they really beef up his banner, which I actually think they will do, so I'll be keeping my eye on that, but more than likely it's going to be a skip knowing that Golden Frieza and Super Vegeta are coming up. Yeah, but that's pretty much my entire box. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them down below. I'll let you know what I got if you guys are curious. I have played for about 850 days, give or take, so that's what I've culminated over the time. Feel free to drop your questions down below. I've been your host, Lube, man. I hope this has shown you guys what you were looking for as far as a box showcase. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. And remember, YTRI. Have a good day, guys.